want to talk about AI again, but I don't want to talk about the big headlines like about Fable being pulled and all the new features from 11 Labs, even though those are really cool. I want to talk about stuff that's a lot smaller, stuff that is a lot more applicable to maybe my life and your life. And it's the stuff that we forget, like appointments that we forget, errands that we forget to run, things that sit in our inbox because we forget that we left them in draft and we forgot to actually hit send. You know, things that we were supposed to do, but they had no real deadline. So we just said, I got to remember to do this. And then you actually forget to do that. It's those kinds of things that I think are really, it's those kinds of things that I think AI is primed to fix for those of us who are not out there building models and harnesses and solutions to save the world. Like, all we wanted, what new features got added? Is it newer? Can it do more things? Is it way more powerful than the last time I had it? And that's still part of it, because that stuff's exciting. It's neat to read those headlines and then test it and say, yeah, this thing actually does do a lot more than it used to. But I find myself now thinking more about whether the technology that I'm looking at is going to reduce the friction in my life. Does this make my day calmer? Or does it add another thing that I have to remember and figure out how to use? Does it help me remember things? Or is it just another place where all the important little tasks that I have are going to hide and I won't be able to find? And more importantly, does it help me to be more present with the people in my life? Or is it putting up another barrier, another thing to stare at my screen for that separates me from those people? Okay, so that's where AI gets interesting to me, because the more that I use it, the less I'm impressed with the stunt version of what AI can do. Like, it's cool to watch it dub my videos into completely different languages in my voice. That's cool, but that doesn't make my life any better. The more that I use it, the less I'm impressed by the new features, like the ability of AI to take a video, like this one, for instance, and dub it into a completely different language. That's super cool. But at the end of the day, I have to ask myself, does this make my life any easier? And does it help me carry life a little more? I'm not asking it to like control my life. That's an important distinction. I don't want AI to make all my decisions for me, replacing my judgment or telling me what matters. That's still on me. But I do want it to help me take away the barriers that allow me to make those decisions quickly. And those barriers are things like clutter, reminders, searching, sorting. The questions like, where did I put that stuff, and what did I say that I was going to do? That's where I think people my age need to pay attention, because we've spent a lot of decades. Because we've spent decades how it looks in the brochure, how it works when people are tired, systems are messy, passwords don't work, kids need something, something pops up at work and screws up your schedule, and your back gets all messed up from you just walking around. You learn a lot by living through that stuff. You learn where things break. You learn what people forget. You learn which details matter, and then which details are just noise and that you can just discard. And now maybe for the first time, regular people can take that knowledge and build small supports around it. Not some giant company platform, not a 5-year transformation project, just a useful little system, like a reminder that knows the difference between a casual note and something that affects your family schedule. A way to scan through messy emails and find the ones that are important that you need to reply to, and a checklist for processes you've done 100 times, but you don't want to forget when you're in a stressful situation. That's the kind of stuff that you want AI to make simpler for you. And when I say simpler, that it could be a tool that takes something really complicated and gives you 3 buttons to choose from. And that might not sound exciting if you're 25, because at 25, you still have enough memory and energy to like brute force through a lot of these problems. You can stay up late, you recover faster, you keep more tabs open in your head, and somehow you survive on snacks and confidence. At 57, I still have confidence, but I can't survive on snacks. And I do need rest. And sometimes my confidence just needs a little stretching before I can actually get it to work. So that changes how I look at tools. And I'm not trying to win the technology race. I'm just trying to reduce the number of places where life leaks attention. So leaking attention That's done so many times. And I go to look at one video to learn how to do something. And then an hour later, I'm flipping through videos that have nothing to do with what I was looking for. In fact, I've gotten to the end of that time and not remembered what I was looking for in the first place. That can also run into things like trying to figure out, did I reply to an email? Did I check the thing that I was supposed to check when I got home? Did I send the document that I said I was going to send when I was talking to the person on the phone on my drive back from work? So now none of those things taken one by one are dramatic. But if you stack those things up together, suddenly you're tired before the real work has even gotten started. And I think that's where AI, when used less like a toy, can really make a big difference. It can act as a second set of hands for our mental clutter. It can be our second brain. Again, it's not to replace responsibility, it's to make responsibility more manageable. That's where older people may have an advantage we don't always see, because we know the cost of not following through. We've missed things, we've dropped balls, we've had seasons where work, family, health, and money all wanted the same amount of attention at the exact same time. So when a tool says, I can help you keep track of that, we're not just hearing convenience, we're hearing relief. But we also have to know not to trust it blindly. That's another part of getting older. You've seen too many perfect demos turn into messy reality, and you know the sales version and the daily use version are not always the same. So the goal isn't to hand over your life to AI. The goal is to supervise the AI. Use it like a helper that needs direction. Give it a real problem, check what it gives back, correct it when it misses the point, and slowly build something that fits the way your life actually works. For me, that's the practical promise of all. Not that it makes me younger, not that it makes me cool. I gave up cool somewhere around the time that I started worrying about lumbar support when I was driving my car. The promise is that maybe some of what I've learned does not have to stay stuck in my head. Maybe the patterns I've noticed at work can become a tool. Maybe the things my family repeats every week can become a smoother routine. Maybe the small responsibilities that used to depend on me remembering everything can become a little more visible. That matters, because when you get to this stage of life, you start to realize that keeping promises isn't always about the really big things. It's a lot of boring little things. It's the stuff where it's just faithfulness. It's just showing up. It's following through. It's doing things when nobody's around to clap, making life easier. So maybe the question for people our age is not, how do I use AI tools every day? That's exhausting. Maybe the better question is, where am I dropping attention every week? Where do I keep relying on memory when I should just build a system? Where is there a frustration in my life that I've just over time come to accept as normal? So where could a little bit of help make me more available to do the things that only I can do? That might be a better starting point. Not a new identity, just one area where you say, this keeps slipping, let me build a better handle for it. That feels like a very Gen X way of approaching AI. Just fix the thing that keeps breaking. Anyway, that's what I've been thinking about. I hope this resonates with some of you, but I'd be curious, what's the one area in your life where you could use just a little help to reduce the friction in your life and make things for people around you a little easier? Leave me a note in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for listening.